Alright, so we here. Just like that, the video start. Let's go. Okay, and here we have Jazz in his Pontiac Solstice GXP vehicle mode. And looking pretty clean if I don't say so myself. And along with him having this super cool looking hand cannon and this Cybertronian battle shield here, he's also able to roll.
Nice.
Now, as you can see, despite the fact that Jazz was one of the smallest Autobots in the Transformers 2007 movie, mine is definitely not built to scale. The tire alone is the size of one minifigure, and the length of this guy is coming in at a good 8.5 inches. Despite the size comparison inaccuracies though, this is my second attempt at building this guy. So let's talk improvements. Now, looking back at the version 1 of Jazz that I built last year, bro, I kind of really didn't even need a version 2, but I figured since I already have the whole frame of a car pre-built, I might as well just swap out the pieces and do Jazz over, especially since I'm doing all of my other car builds over as well.
Oh.
So I took my last car build, which was Bumblebee Movie Shatter, modified that bad boy for 8 hours, and boom, we got Transformers 2007 movie Jazz version 2. Now, but hold up though, right? Because you remember I just said we didn't need a V2, right? You remember that? Nah, I remember that. I just said it. But let's keep it a buck. The V2 came out way better. So it wasn't necessary but was always wanted. Nah, it wasn't necessary but was always needed. Ooh, give me that. Now, as for the updates, we of course have the redesigned shield. The redesigned arm cannon, which is pretty much just a recycled arm cannon from my previous Bumblebee movie Shatter build. We've also got a redesigned bumper section here. We've got some mirrors on the side of this version, along with some smooth tiling on the outer vehicle to give it a more sleek and realistic look. Redesigned tail fin and redesigned back section here. And lastly, we've got the redesigned back portion of the vehicle here as well.
Yeah, boy.
Now, as for the underside of Jazz here, we have...
Huh?
Yo, hold up, bro. I'm not even gonna hold you. You doing a lot of talking right now and not enough transforming.
Bruh.
Oh, I'm doing a lot of talking.
Yeah, you doing a lot of talking, bro.
Yo, I'm doing a lot of talking?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
Yes, sir.
yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yo, how you sleep right now, bro?
Burn it all.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Oh, that's hot. That's hot.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Optimus Prime's First Lieutenant, 2007 movie Jazz. Okay, now before we get into the second half of the video, if you guys are interested in having me build your favorite LEGO Transformers, consider becoming a Super Say. Membership link in the description. And if you guys are interested in sharing your LEGO mechs or LEGO Transformers, you should definitely pop into my LEGO Mech Facebook group. Now, believe it or not, I've got to say the easiest part about this entire build was designing the head. And that's actually pretty crazy because in the past, I've always said that the heads were actually the hardest part of my builds and they would take anywhere from 4 to 5 hours. But the thing is, now that I have a frame that allows me to use one single car transformer to build several, I also have a head sculpt that allows me to build several heads as well.
Oh.
So although all of my heads may look entirely different, they're structured in very similar ways from the inside. One thing that was a little tricky though was getting this visor to actually look like a visor with Jazz here, because I'm so used to building Transformers that have two separate eyes that now when I have to do something different, I'm kind of like, okay, how am I gonna do this exactly? But with a little fiddling, I managed to get it to work. Now, comparing the version 2 robot mode here to the version 1, I gotta say that version 1 actually still holds up in its robot mode as well, because you gotta remember, this is an 8.5 inch scale model, whereas the version 1 was only 5 inches. So inevitably, you're going to see a lack of detail the smaller you go with your builds, and vice versa, the larger you go, the more details you can add. So for a Jazz that size, I'm actually still pretty satisfied with it. One area that it was lacking in that this one picks up on is articulation though, because the version 1, it just didn't look fluid. It could get into some cool poses, but its neutral pose was really stiff looking. And that was honestly the case for a lot of my older builds because I wasn't using any ball joints for their joints. So their limbs ended up getting positioned in a lot of awkward positions as they were standing up in their robot modes. But as you can see, that is not the case with my newer builds here. The way their arms sit on their shoulders and their legs hang off of their torso just looks way more natural. Now, before we get into the kibble, if you guys are interested in seeing that Bumblebee movie Shatter build that I've been mentioning throughout the video, I'll leave the link to that at the end of this one. Now, as for the backpack, as you can see, it's a bit bulky here, but as long as this guy can stand, that's all I really care about at this point. But you know what's crazy? The kibble on the version 2 here is actually worse than the kibble on the version 1. But the version 1 couldn't stand up because of its kibble, and the version 2 uses its kibble to help it stand up. Yes, that's crazy. So you see, with the kibble on my new car transformers here, it actually snaps on to the back of the neck where the head connects. And this creates sort of kind of like a counterbalance where it uses the weight on the back here with the tension that it creates from connecting to it to balance the front.
Wow.
That's savants.
Alright, next up on the list, I got ROTF Sideswipe. But let me know in the comments who your favorite Transformers 2007 Decepticon was.
Burn it all.